We're also going to take this opportunity right now for our sponsors in the room. We value the fact that we don't want you standing at a table for an hour and a half through lunch, so we're going to feed you first. So if you could, or if you're interested, if you want to head up to the King Sullivan room, which is on the mezzanine level, and there'll be lunch provided for you, and then if you can be back to your tables around 11:30, that'd be great. You're more than welcome to stay and hear all these exciting things about U.S. Bank and world travel, but please feel free to go have some lunch if you'd like. With that, Ivan, would you like to bring up Tori?
Yeah, I'd like to bring up our partner, my friend Tori Passons, to the stage to a little deeper dive into the relationship and the solutions.
Partnerships in the corporate payment space at U.S. Bank. So I'm deeply grateful to Ivan and World Travel to get to work with them so closely. I've been at U.S. Bank for 8 years, coming up December 1st. So super happy to be here. Jim, it's good to see you. Didn't know you had such a cool dog.
So I know you have a number of members of your team here as well, so if you get a chance at lunch, make sure, or the trade show portion, make sure you stop by the U.S. Bank table and have conversations with them. Let's go into the first question, which is, why the heck is a bank at a travel symposium talking about innovation?
First, I forgot to say happy birthday, so happy birthday. With that question, I also need to thank you again for having a bank here. I get that question a lot at innovation conferences, travel conferences. That's the first thing they ask before we get to speak. Why are you here? And I used to be offended by this question because I'm like, we're US Bank, we're the 5th largest bank, we're the 3rd largest commercial card issuer. We punch way above our weight. I think we're very cool, but apparently that's not our brand. And so our brand is safety and security. So I started talking to CFOs and controllers and travel managers to try and figure out this puzzle of why don't they see us like we see us? And it's because commercial card is a commodity. And I didn't see that coming, but it truly is. And so that's where innovation comes in. How do we use the APIs that Katie was talking about to integrate with platforms to make sure we are meeting our customers where they're at? Because we were trying to force customers into our environment thinking we were someone we're not. But so now everything has changed with technology, and that's my main focus in partnerships and new product development, is meeting you where you're at, to not force you to come to me. I want to come to you. So.
Excellent. This really got an exclamation point at GBTA when we announced this partnership. But let's dive a little bit deeper into the two of you, and how are the two of you here together?
So I think you have the date.
December 2nd, 2014, I met Ivan Imana. I know that because December 1st was my first day on the job at US Bank. December 2nd, I was in front of Ivan in his town, and I knew nothing about travel, nothing. And so super intimidating to speak with someone like Ivan who knows everything about travel. And he started talking to me about pain points. That's where we began the conversation. What's your name? You're asking all those great questions. Colleen? Great questions, because the pain points that you were identifying there, that's what we started talking about almost 8 years ago. How do we solve this? You have ghost cards dancing with virtual cards, horrible reconciliation, not tying the traveler to the card, to the trip. And so as I listened to Ivan, I got super excited, because if you find pain as a product manager, you can solve for it. It may take some time, and so that's where our journey began together. And it's been really fun. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for your wisdom in teaching me about travel. I love the travel industry. I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Well, and for me, it was great to have a banking partner that was about solving new problems, you know? Because one of the things that me and Tori talk about, I kid him, but I also say this, is very much a banker-unbanker relationship. It's about solving solutions, looking for new ways to do things. And through this journey, as we talked about, is, you know, hey, we recognized pain points 8 years ago, but as technology moved, APIs came to the forefront. And the ability, as you asked before, is, you know, before you could never dynamically set a merchant category code. And to actually do that and say, hey, when we got back together again, we sat down in a room and it's like, hey, I see this problem, but the tech we feel is actually there. And so that's started the foundation of World VC.
Excellent. Do you want to go into a little bit more detail on that technology that allows this whole thing to happen?
Yeah, it's been a journey to get here. It was very, very difficult to build. We were the first bank to actually put a card in the mobile wallet, so you're plastic to type it in. We were the first bank to do that. We were also the first bank to push a card into the mobile wallet through a product that I was building with Laretha right over here. And then when the pandemic hit, we built a product called Instant Card. So you could download our app and we could push the card to you so you could use it to buy stuff. We built that in 3 months. We had the foundation to do so, but that didn't meet our customers where they're at. It solved for a pain point, but we needed to take that one step further through APIs, through a product called Card as a Service. So we rebuilt all the APIs to open up the technology to world travel, so they could ingest them and put our technology in their environment, so you don't have to come to us. But that allows them to give you so much more control, as Ivan's talking about, of the spend, solving for the candid traveler, guest traveler situation that just kept coming up that we couldn't solve for seamlessly. So.
Yeah, and what I think about it is like, you know, when we went through, hey, here's the pain points, here's what a vision is, now where's the technology associated to that? And going through, as you know, Tori mentioned, is we have all these different API connections that allow us so much flexibility to deliver on that program. And what's important about that, it had to be dynamic, right? Because one of the things I wanted to get rid of was a single-use card or a process where a different credit card was used when you make the reservation versus ticketed. So you're shopping, one credit card's used, and you know, when you buy it or make the reservation, a different credit card's used. And then the aspect is, okay, we're gonna share this information with you, but then we've gotta go use a new card, so it'll always require that. So the fact that we could actually have a multi-use card, control the category codes, the spend time, but also dynamically change the dollars on that card and do that instantly, and that the technology existed with CAS is really, you know, hey, okay, I think we've got something here. Let's build this out.
So technology adoption is all about timing. You have to put the product and make the product available at the right time. Why is now the right time?
Now is an amazing time with technology, with the birth of APIs, or the explosion of APIs, I think Katie said. And if you think about, I could talk about this data all day long. I get this from Visa, and they feed it to me because it's so important to what we're doing here. Pre-pandemic, 2019, 50% of point-of-sale devices could accept tap-to-pay, but none of you were doing it. Less than 1% were tapping. And so we knew this technology was coming, but we always got asked the question, how do I do it? Where do I do it? But once the pandemic hit, nobody wanted to pull out their card anymore. No one wanted to touch point-of-sale devices. So you'd go to all these merchants, and they'd have signs, contactless payments. Delta Airlines, when you're on their flights, they're like, please pay with contactless payments. And that changed everything. So present day, it's over 20% adoption. In 75% of the point of sale devices take tap to pay. So that changed so much of our vision coming to fruition, because in the past, people didn't know how to do it, why they would ever change the way they were doing things. So it's a combination of change management because of COVID and point of sale acceptance. And so hotels today sit at 77% acceptance across the board, and we believe that number is going up above 90 within the next 12 months. So super excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, the pandemic really, pushed, changing that payment process. But I think the other thing is, even that I may be a little older than a millennium, but I definitely use my phone for everything, right? And I think the adoption of a mobile device by the population is that, hey, it's really straightforward to put a card in a wallet, and it's very straightforward to tap, whether hey, it's incidentals or whether I'm going out to dinner. And so I think the other aspect that's going to come into play, just not related to our product, is the security around that is going to change. Because what stuck out to me related to tap to pay or stuff like that is I don't give my credit card out. I don't give my credit card to that waiter that disappears for 15 minutes, then comes back with a receipt, and and who knows? And I look on my card statement, I've got a $600 tab from Starbucks. How did that happen? So when you think about security, it's like that. As we go to tap to pay, and it's adopted more and more. Just in general, that's going to remove that potential security aspect. So I just think the timing is right in a couple of different ways.
So looking into the future, how does this solution affect the future of travel? And then what's the future of World VC?
Well, I think we talked and touched a couple points on this related to Canada and athletic travel. But the other aspect is that, Festive Road was talking about is what I say is, dispersion of the workforce, right? I'm a remote worker, and a lot of team members are remote workers, and having face-to-face meetings is just so much more productive than being on a Teams call, right? Technology has enabled remote working, and it's a great thing. But if I need to brainstorm with my team, I want to be in a room, I want a whiteboard, and we want to throw ideas at each other, and it's really hard to do on a Zoom or a Teams. So what I see is, beyond athletic and Canada travel, is this concept of meet me, meaning, hey, you know what? The team needs to get together for a day or two, a real, i.e. small meeting, and hey, it may be a manager that previously you'd never roll out a credit card to. Well, here you have a World Virtual Card, whether it's to that manager or to the whole team for this one meeting, for a couple days of collaboration face-to-face. So that's one of the aspects where we see other avenues besides Canada and athletic travel.
Excellent. Tori, anything to add to that?
We're seeing the same trend. We call it on-site's the new off-site, because we are doing the same thing as US Bank, and we're seeing it with our customers and their spending trends. And so we were talking earlier about budgets and travel budgets, and our cab that we were in, same thing happened. They all were setting up their budgets differently, but not one of them said we have cut back 50% on our travel because travel is twice as expensive. They're not seeing that. They just hit the wall somewhere halfway through the year. And so, but we asked them the same question, what's going on with your corporations? They said, well, we have to travel because our teams are all over the US right now, and we have to get together in these small groups. And so that on-site's the new off-site, or the meet me, is absolutely a trend happening right now. But I think we have the technology together to help solve for that trend, to make it much easier for you to go to world travel, for us to help solve that. So it's kind of the next horizon that I see, and
Absolutely.
super exciting.
Excellent. Let's open up to any questions that you might have. Any questions in the group? Taylor will be coming around with a mic.
I was wondering if US Bank has competed with the cards that we as a customer look for: rewards, a payment cycle, a prompt pay discount. So my training program, we have to travel our instructors because we bring our program to our clients. But on a cash flow basis for our company, I don't get paid from our client until 30 days later. So we bill back to our client our travel costs. So for US Bank, what is the payment terms and the value for me to give my employees this V card, and how does it affect my cash flow as a company?
So first, I want you to meet Alan LaCure. Alan, will you stand up, please? He's one of our salespeople, card salespeople at US Bank. He's awesome. If you got to hang out with him last night, he's also super duper fun. But I'll tell you the short answer, and you can go to Alan for the longer answer. So we pay you rebate on all your card spend. You don't have to be a US Bank customer to use the World BC, which is genius of Ivan. But if you are a US Bank customer, then we pay you to use our card. The faster you pay, the more we pay you. And so, and we have the float you're talking about, and we will still pay you even if you have that 30-day float in place. And so, if you call cash rewards, we reward you with cash. We also have a program called Flex Perks if you want to reward your employees for traveling and spending more money. We like it when they spend more money, and so if you want to encourage that, we encourage you to do it. So we have that as well as a tag along to it. But talk to Alan, he'll be at our booth, and he's happy to talk to you about all payment term stuff.
Excellent. Any other questions? Oh, up here.
I'm not a real techie person. We do have a US Bank card program, which is great. I think my confusion on this product is virtual card and payment for entertainment and talent, right? If we want to send in those, we're still sending in those credit card authorization forms, was that the front desk people at the properties don't recognize that virtual. They think it should be plastic that they want handed over. So I'm not really sure how this product solves for that issue, and maybe I'm just missing something. And the only other comment, I just recently last week read an article about tap to pay, and that they're questioning the security. Like, we went to chip thinking it'd be more secure, and now tap to pay, because the card is in your possession. But now the reader with that tap to pay, somebody can, how they put in something with the ATM to read your information. It spoke to now, if you're in a certain vicinity, that you could get information from that card tap to pay. So I'm just wondering what your comments are on that as well.
So let me take this, because one of the things is, actually, when I was in Europe, it was almost 100% tap to pay. But the other aspect of that is that, on the security aspect, is that I think it's every 3 to 5 transactions potentially, you have to enter your PIN number. So it's a balance between security and ease of use. Security compliance is probably about 25% of my job. There's always someone trying to figure that out. But related to that encryption, and the one good thing about the virtual card is that it's got merchant code lockdown on it. So let's say you've got that bad actor out there and they grab this virtual card. Well, there's nothing they can do with it unless make a hotel reservation or whatever you limited it down to that. The other aspect is that dynamically is changing the value of that card. So you're not talking about a credit card that's got a $10,000 limit that can go buy anything, right? So those are certain security aspects, but related to RFID, encryption, that technology is continually evolving very rapidly. So not to downplay that, but the other aspect is just in everything you do when it comes to security or movement, a bad actor is going to try to counteract that, and you counteract that. So
a couple things. The nice thing about tap to pay is it's a token. The nice thing about tap to pay in your phone, it's a token without a card number. And so we have almost zero fraud when it comes to virtual card and tap to pay. Almost zero. It's really, really difficult to get that token without a card number, use it in the right place and right time. It's almost impossible. And we have tons of data because we're doing 90 billion in card spend a year through US Bank. But the
I honestly, I don't have that metric, but when you think about, it's a key point, and this is, thank you, Tori, for providing that, is that when you think about tap to pay or this whole technology of moving information from one place to the other, crypto technology, which you're not moving the card information, you're not moving that information, it's a key, it's an encrypted key, and you have to be incredibly sophisticated to try to figure that out. So I just think from a basic layman's terms is that if I'm giving somebody my card, right, and they have the ability to grab that card and walk away with it. It was interesting because, in the States here, I'm used to this, is that I go out to dinner, I give them my card, they go away, they come back with a folio, with a pin, right, and they say, thank you very much. And who knows where that card went? Where, in Europe, as you're asking, is that they come to you, you tap to pay, your receipt's immediate, was my experience, right? And so I just think from a basic perspective as to what is the threat vector related to those two different technologies, I would always lean to tap to pay.
Excellent.
I agree. I just thought it was a really interesting article that's already bringing up, possibilities of
Great. Thank you, Susan. Great point. Thank you, gentlemen.
Can I answer one quick question?
In 20 seconds or less.
20 seconds. So you asked about point of sale, which is really important. Because you have the card in your phone, it's change management at the hotels that's happening right now. You don't have to train someone if their point of sale is sitting out there to take your card and you tap it. You don't have to you don't have to train the front desk. So very soon we will highlight, we're working on the ability to highlight which hotels take tap to pay. So you don't have to guess ahead of time. So we want to surface that in UX. Was that 20 seconds?
A little more.
Okay.
That's all right.
Great point, Tori.
Ivan and Tori, thank you very much. So before everybody goes, here's some directions.